Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. This is your time of the day to learn a little bit about the law while you enjoy your lunch. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. You may have heard that Scaringi Law represents two individuals residing here in central Pennsylvania who were blocked from accessing the Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania, John Fetterman's Twitter account. As a result, my law firm sent a letter to the Lieutenant Governor on February 14th, demanding that he apologize and unblock my clients from his Twitter account. And the Lieutenant Governor has responded yesterday to that demand letter, and so we're going to use this as an opportunity to publish our statement in response to the Lieutenant Governor's response to our demand letter. Scaringi Law clients Jason Lindemuth of Harrisburg and Sean Guay of Hummelstown have achieved a major victory for the First Amendment over Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. On February 14th, 2020, Scaringi Law attorney, myself, on behalf of my clients, Jason Lindemuth and Sean Guay, sent Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman a demand, giving him 7 days to unblock them from his Twitter account with the Twitter handle @JohnFetterman, on the grounds that such blocking violates the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Otherwise, the two men would file a lawsuit compelling him to unblock them. In response, a defiant Lieutenant Governor told media outlets that he would absolutely not unblock them. Well, yesterday, Thursday, February 20th, 1 day before the expiration of that deadline, the Lieutenant Governor folded. He unblocked Mr. Lindemuth and Mr. Guay. And Mr. Lindemuth and Mr. Guay, my two clients, they are very pleased that they are victorious in their challenge to the Lieutenant Governor. Mr. Lindemuth and Mr. Guay are true champions of the First Amendment. Now, in conjunction with his unblocking, the Lieutenant Governor issued a statement to me. And the Lieutenant Governor stated, and I'm going to read to you parts of his statement, and then I'm going to give you my response. The Lieutenant Governor stated, "You and your clients appear willing to squander taxpayer resources in this frivolous endeavor. In this and in every instance, my first instinct is to avoid this waste whenever possible." My response? Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman possibly and perhaps unwittingly acknowledged that he intended to use the resources of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to defend himself from the lawsuit. If, as the Lieutenant Governor previously asserted, his Twitter account is private or personal and not a de facto government account, then he should not use government resources to defend against the lawsuit. He should use his personal resources to defend what he claims is a private or personal Twitter account. If the Lieutenant Governor is concerned about the use of taxpayer resources by the judicial branch in adjudicating this dispute, that concern could have been, and apparently has been, easily avoided by the Lieutenant Governor simply unblocking the two men. It was the Lieutenant Governor and not the Scaringi Law clients who risked using taxpayer resources to resolve this easily resolvable issue. Now, the Lieutenant Governor further stated, he said, "Your clients' unblocked status will be revisited if they again target my family with unwelcome postings on my personal Twitter account." My response? The Lieutenant Governor's unsued status will be revisited again if he blocks my clients from his de facto government Twitter account. The law is clear, and now thanks to Lieutenant Governor Fetterman's statement and conduct, the facts are even clearer, that @JohnFetterman is a de facto government Twitter account, and as such, any actions by the Lieutenant Governor to block Mr. Lindemuth, Mr. Guay, or any other person who wishes to communicate on his Twitter would violate the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Well, the Lieutenant Governor also stated, "I am neither offering nor requesting an apology and consider this matter to be closed." My response? We do not consider this matter to be closed. The Lieutenant Governor made statements to the media that have harmed my clients' reputations. The lieutenant governor stated to Penn Live, Mr. Lindemuth proactively tagging my wife to shame her is disappointing and deeply uncivil. Our response, that is an untrue statement. Mr. Lindemuth made a post on his own Facebook page and did not tag the second lady. And then, for whatever reason, the lieutenant governor apparently went onto Mr. Lindemuth's Facebook page, copied this post, placed it into his Twitter feed, tagged Mr. Lindemuth and the second lady, and tweeted it, along with a comment about Mr. Lindemuth to the lieutenant governor's 48,000 Twitter followers for all of them to see. Who does that? It was the lieutenant governor who tagged his constituent, Mr. Lindemuth, and his own wife. If Mr. Lindemuth's Facebook post shamed the lieutenant governor's wife, why would the lieutenant governor tweet it out to his 48,000 followers? In any event, Mr. Lindemuth did not intend and did not shame our second lady. Mr. Lindemuth replied to the lieutenant governor's tweet explaining that he was not shaming the second lady. That tweet automatically replied to the second lady as a result of the lieutenant governor having tagged her in his original tweet. Furthermore, the lieutenant governor stated on Pittsburgh's Action News 4, if someone attacks my spouse or children or spreads hateful speech or rhetoric, I just block them as a matter of policy. My response, neither Mr. Lindemuth nor Mr. Gway attacked the lieutenant governor's spouse, his children, or spread hateful speech or rhetoric. In another interview, Lieutenant Governor Fetterman accused Mr. Gway of engaging in Islamophobic dog whistling and linking to a blog post that detailed anti-Islamic racist and hateful rhetoric. Our response, the Lieutenant Governor should know that Mr. Gway is not racist or Islamophobic. He does not fear or hate Muslims. He married one. Mr. Gway's wife, Yasmin Farzana, immigrated to the United States from Bangladesh, a Muslim-majority country. Mrs. Gway is a proud Muslim American of the Islamic faith. Like the Lieutenant Governor is proud of his wife's culture and heritage, Mr. Gway is proud of his wife's culture and heritage too. Perhaps the Lieutenant Governor would like to meet her someday. She could teach the Lieutenant Governor much about the Muslim culture and Islamic faith. Also, Mr. Lindemuth, and now due to Lieutenant Governor's recent statements, Mr. Gway, are still considering their options concerning a possible defamation action against the Lieutenant Governor. Perhaps such a lawsuit could be avoided if the Lieutenant Governor reached out to his two constituents, tried to get to know them and to understand what they think are the important issues for the Lieutenant Governor to spend his time addressing. After all, the Lieutenant Governor represents all the people of Pennsylvania, even those with whom he disagrees. Lastly, although Mr. Lindemuth and Mr. Gway may disagree with our Lieutenant Governor as to what makes Pennsylvania great, we can all agree that Pennsylvania has a lovely, accomplished, successful, and indeed a great second lady. Well, that's the end of my statement in response to Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman's statement directed to me, yours truly, Attorney Mark Scaringi, representing his two clients in this great day, this historic victory for the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. I want to thank you for listening to the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. I hope you learned a little bit about the law. Thanks for listening and enjoy your lunch.